Hello everyone, it's Melanie here with Vintage Hill Studio. I'm so glad you dropped by today. Today we are doing a vintage sewing pattern and turning that into a double Z fold card. Now all of the supplies and dimensions can be found under the description below this YouTube video. So hop on over there if you're interested in the score lines, the dimensions of these panels, and all the other details for making this card. So you can see I'm just using my scoring board and my bone folder to make these score marks. This will be the larger of the Z fold panels. It was a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of heavy black cardstock. This will be the base for our card, so I like to use the heavyweight cardstock for that. And then we're going to have a smaller base with these dimensions, and I'll score those very quickly and then get those folded over and reinforced with my bone folder as well. So again, you have a larger Z fold and a smaller Z fold panel, which makes your double Z fold card. Once we get all of this done, we'll move on with some more of the details of the panels for each one of these cards, the decorative panels. So as I said, I love, love, love the vintage sewing patterns. I think they are a beautiful work of art. It's great ephemera for journals or cards. I decided to make a card with mine. I've seen a lot of videos with journals and tags, but not too many of them using the cards. Okay, back to the card making. Here's some craft mats that I cut out, and this is where the tissue pattern comes in handy. This is the tissue that comes with each pattern, and I wanted to make use of everything that I could for these cards without wasting anything. So you can see I'm just clipping out some portions that I think would look good on these smaller panels. These are going to be used to decorate the larger portion of our Z-fold card this week. So kind of just hold them up, place them over there, see what they're going to look like when you decide what to use. Now, this is a shout out to one of my subscribers, Twins Rock. They leave me comments all the time on my videos, and I'm very appreciative of that. I love to learn from other crafters, and I like to hear what you have to say about my videos, and they are very constructive, and at one point told me to try maybe using a glue stick instead of the regular tape runners or liquid glue, and what a great bit of feedback. This works perfectly on this tissue, so thank you, Twins Rock. You rock. Thanks for the comment. You can see that I can pull this up and move it around if I get any wrinkles. The glue stick is very forgiving with this tissue paper, so it allows for me to make some minor adjustments, and I love that. Okay, I'm going to set these aside to dry for just a little bit. Doesn't take very long. Now you could either wrap the tissue around the back of these panels or you can clip it off like I am. I decided to just clip these off with my scissors. Leaves a nice and neat panel for our Z-fold card and allows us to use that pattern tissue. So to age these up a little bit, I'm bringing over my favorite. This is Vintage Photo. It's by Ranger. It's a little ink, and I'm using a finger dauber just to lightly ink around the edges. It's going to make them look a little more polished, a little more finished when they go onto the front of my card. There are all our panels, including one for the inside sentiment. Now, this is a little clear stamp set I found on Amazon, and then I've used my PC to print So Blessed and cut that out with a couple of oval dies. Use the stitching from that clear stamp set. And again, this will be used for writing a message on the inside of the card. Okay, now for this smaller Z fold, I'm using this stitched plaid embossing folder just to give a little texture and interest to the inside of the Z fold, just on this smaller panel. Here on the right hand side, see the stitched plaid? Because I like giving a little bit of texture to some of my projects. So here is that wonderful piece of art. This drawn pattern. Copyright 1971. Love it. Love, love, love it. So I'm trying to see, because these have smaller figures on there, of which one would fit best on the front of my card. And you can see this is so old, the glue is coming apart quite easily, which will allow me to open this completely up. And I'm not going to waste the bottom part of the back of that packet. That will go inside my envelope this week as a liner. So again, just taking some quick measurements because I don't want to lose any of these drawings here from this pattern. So I decided to go with the top portion, and I'm going to carefully cut this off. And look at that wonderful yellow spool over there on the left. I'm going to use that in a project too. Can't wait. So again, I am going to use these other figures in different projects. So I'm going to cut straight up here. I want to keep that make it easy that was on the front of the pattern. And I love that little ruler across the top too, but it needed something to finish off the bottom, so I pulled in some more of that yellow just to even out my image here. And I'm going to quickly adhere that to the back of this dual girl pattern, so you can read step-by-step pattern. That just makes it a little more in line with the dimensions on that front panel of the smaller Z-fold portion. Love how it's coming out. Okay, now it's time to start assembling. So I added a little craft card to the back of those girls to give them a little more stability, because again, the vintage pattern paper was pretty old, and sometimes it becomes a little weak. So I just added that. And then here is that message part for writing your own handwritten note. And then we've got the embossing folder detail on the right-hand side. Now over to our larger Z-fold base, I'm going to go and add all of these tissue pattern panels that we made earlier. This card goes together so easily once you have all the dimensions and supplies and whatever you need lined up. Then putting it together is fairly simple. Again, I have the instructions for how to make this Dbl-Z fold card down in the description below this YouTube video. So visit me there if you're interested in those instructions. Now to put this together, this is the portion that was embossed. We're just going to do that little bitty panel, close the card up, and line that up on the right-hand edge of our larger Z-fold. Give that a little press with your fingers and then close the card back up. You want to make sure that your fold lines are aligned between the small Z-fold and the larger Z-fold. Close the whole card up and then add a little glue just to this edge. You don't want to go too far because you don't want to go past that first panel. So I just kind of err on the side of caution and do a little bit of glue. Let that dry and your Dbl-Z fold card is complete. I think it does justice to really letting this vintage pattern shine, and also for repurposing some of that tissue, the pattern tissue. Hey, thank you so much for dropping by. I'd love to hear a comment from you. If you're not a subscriber, feel free to become a subscriber. And I hope you get inspired to look through some vintage patterns and give this Dbl-Z fold a try. It's an interactive card that is a lot of fun to give and a lot of fun to get. Happy crafting, everyone!